into the takeoff, our aim should be to set up the longest possible lever that we can use to generate height in the jump. And that means we need to learn how to present the foot ahead of the body to set up that lever and give us the ability to strike down on the ground to generate height. So all of this comes from how we use the penultimate foot. So the penultimate step, we said before, we use to lower our center of mass, ready for the takeoff. But we want to land with a flat foot penultimate. This helps us to lower our center of mass, and it also helps us to move that takeoff leg ahead of the body. Now from here, what we want to do is inject speed into the takeoff and speed into that lever. So we're going to push off the toe of the penultimate foot, and we'll see how that extends our body and gets that foot ahead of the body ready to strike. So we're looking to have a flat foot contact with a push off the toe to create that big lever, and then we're going to snap down the takeoff foot to impart our force into the ground. So those final two steps through the penultimate and takeoff are going to be a flat foot with a push and then a flat foot takeoff. Now of course, in order to create that stiffness in the contact, we need to have that straight line from our foot, knee, ankle through to our shoulder. So as we perform the penultimate step, we're actually going to lean slightly back with our trunk as we drive off that toe, and that's going to help us to set up that longer line. So we should have our body leaning back somewhere around 10 to 20 degrees, and that gives us the space for us to run our chest and our hips through the jump and to use that lever to generate height. Now of course, into the takeoff, we're also coming off our curve, so we're going to be carrying this lateral movement as well as this 30-degree attack angle into the bar. So we're going to be leaning away from the bar and leaning back from the bar to set up that lever laterally and horizontally. Now that means when we plant our foot, one of the really important things is that we have this in line with our trunk. Often we're trying to force rotation and we turn the foot in, and this is where we're going to get injuries of having our foot rolling over and creating these ankle injuries. One of the really important things is that we have our foot in line with our body, in line with that leg, so that we can create that stiffness in the contact, and we can stabilize the foot as quickly as possible so we can apply our force to the ground. Now our only aim at this point is to generate as much height as possible in the jump, and we're going to rely on the forces we've built up on the curve to do all of our rotational work for us. So from here, we need to actively strike the ground, driving our force directly down into the ground, and we're going to try and extend through to this straight line of our shoulder, hip, knee and ankle, and this means that all of our force is going directly up into the air. What we don't want to do is try and force this rotation and lose that alignment, or try and clear the bar by dropping our shoulder in, and again we have our forces coming here out of our hip and not through the whole line of our body. So we're going to ignore the bar until we've come off the ground, and we're going to come in striking the takeoff leg into the ground and driving up through a straight line of our takeoff leg all the way through to the shoulder to generate the longest, straightest line possible.